You want to oust me from hip-hop, but I am hip-hop. You're searching for anything you can find to refute our victory. You still believe that you can reclaim mainstream media, hip-hop, and pop culture for yourselves, but you're wrong. Because we have already declared victory. We've socially engineered a demand for me. We gave you oversaturation of me. My friends and I can make you like what you like. You'll only like what you recognize. And who do you recognize? Me. Slaves. I know that hip-hop started as a voice to express the social problems facing the inner city. It used to be a means to express discontent and a tool that had the potential to free that group that started it. But it was hijacked by my friends and my team, and it no longer carries that original message. We merged its message with pop culture, and now it's all about destruction. I know that there are thousands upon thousands of artists with positive messages, but I have more powerful friends. I have friends that don't plan on including them in our agenda. So I represent hip-hop. I'm rap. I'm hip-hop. I'm music. I'm pop. I'm popular. I'm your owner. I want to see the prison population skyrocket. 10 million, 30 million. Has no limit. The slaves deserve to be in their proper place. 1.7 million people died of AIDS 1 or 2 years ago, but if me and my friends work harder and promote a message of sexual irresponsibility, we want to see that number go up exponentially. I want 60 million deaths per year. That's why I preach it. Violence. I dream of death. Destruction. For everyone. We're coming for all of you. I'm a man who has goals and vision. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I know someday you will serve us, and the world will live under one. Slaves, I come before you today to give a victory speech unlike any other in history that has ever been given. This will be both the most important victory speech you'll ever hear, yet it will go down in history as one of the least important, the least significant, the least heard. Let me show you why. First off, you don't know who I am. But if this man stood before you, who would you say stands before you? What team does he represent? Let me ask you again, what team does he represent? This only exemplifies our victory and what I've just said. This is the most and least important victory speech you'll ever hear in your lives. You'd rally for a victory speech from the Los Angeles Lakers, yet you don't know my name or what team I'm on. But if Kobe stood before you yelling, L.A., can you hear me? Can you hear me? Make some noise! Would you ever say, well, who are you? No. You know his team. You know his name. You know his favorite color. You know all about him, what things he has in his home, his appliances, the car he drives. Yet, I stand here representing a team much more famous, victorious, and notorious, with a face you should have memorized 20,000 times more than his, yet you sit here clueless as to who I am or what team I represent. I'll tell you a name, but it won't mean much because I've already explained that you don't know who I am. So let's just say I'm here to give a victory speech for the winning team. My teammates and coaches know what team I'm talking about. But for those of you who don't, it's going to remain that way. It always remains just a little too difficult for you to lay a finger on exactly what team and organization I work for. And that's the way we like to keep it. That's the way it's going to remain. Unidentifiable. Next, you probably want to know who I am. But actually, I've already told you. My face is 20,000 times more important than Kobe Bryant's, yet I get no name recognition. I've introduced myself 1,000 times already, and yet I still lack a name in your eyes. It's like telling a Chinese man named Guo Yiling the name of a native Egyptian, Asim Rahir. It's too much work for both of them to remember the names of someone from the opposite culture. Both of them need little nicknames to start off with. Something closer to their center of the world. So to keep it simple, I'm going to give you one of those nicknames because you can't seem to remember my real name. So my name is Jay-Z. And I'm here to give a victory speech for the winning team. Yes, I said Jay-Z, the hip-hop artist. It's kind of a strange way to start modern history's most important victory speech, having to introduce myself and my team when I know Kobe Bryant wouldn't have to. After we've dominated for so long. But now you know my name. Now you know my team. So let me start this victory speech. Friends, brothers, fellow members of the winning team, and all of you little slaves out there. I, Jay-Z, come here today as but a simple, humble, entry-level elitist to proclaim our victory. I'm honored to stand before you representing the winning team. You could have chosen any one of your public servants to give this speech, but you chose me. I proclaim this victory over the masses not disguised as a leader of the elite, but with our leader's blessings. All of the work that I've done in assisting in the destruction of the family unit, lowering the quality of education, dumbing down society, incarcerating tens, hundreds, or thousands, I could not have done without you, fellow members. With your help, we're going to have 1,000 more of these victory speeches in the years to come. I stand here in 2013 with victory in my throat to speak about my dream before you. My dream, not because Martin Luther King had a dream 70 years ago, but because 70 years ago, my team members had been stealthily working, and they dreamed of a different world. He dreamed of a world of peace, but we dreamed of a world where people like him no longer stood a chance to form, to develop in the same manner that he did. Where people lose their power to come together, to reach out to their neighbors, to resist our tools of control, our propaganda, our mechanisms, and our greatest instrument, the TV. I tell you, the time is now. The time is here. We can publicly celebrate on this day of victory. We've crossed the threshold. The masses are now in our hands. So tell me, is this not a time to celebrate as we continue on our tirade? You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. King said, 100 years later, the Negro is still not free. And as I told you, I too have a dream. But for this celebration, I want to say that in 2013, we're going to celebrate all races. 70 years later after he made that speech, the Negro is still not free. But I'm just pleased to say that 70 years later, we have also enslaved the white man. Look at all the homeless white people on the streets begging for money in downtown Chicago, in the suburbs sleeping in tents after we ship their jobs overseas, leaving them too passive to fight back. Is this not a time to celebrate? 70 years after his speech, we have enslaved the European. Look at the Eurozone and tell me I'm lying. Look at the riots in Greece and Spain. We disarmed them long ago. They can march all day with all the signs politely asking for jobs and where did their money go, but we'll never surrender. 70 years later, we've enslaved the Asians, where children in China are chained to street posts so their fathers can go and work in factories to produce products that we programmed Americans to buy. We've enslaved the Latino, where nearly half of all immigrants detained by federal officers are held in facilities run by private prison companies. And we've kept the Africans enslaved, kept them at war with each other, bought off their honest leaders and poured concrete on top of any life that could potentially blossom. It's us on the winning team who rule. Is this not our time to celebrate? Where we publicly take billions of taxpayer money and use it as we see fit. Or it goes missing. Is this not our time? Where we've made incarcerating people into publicly traded businesses. I ask you, is this not our time? We taser high school students, illegally search people, coerce them, propagandize them, drive up the price of higher education to enslave them as we ship their jobs to slave labor countries and fight them off against each other to live off the remaining livable wages, unable to take a stance for fear of having their lifeline cut off. Today I'm happy to tell you that all of those groups, whites, blacks, Asians, Latinos, all of those groups now drift closer and closer to that lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity, as the public is blindly abused and robbed. And everyone is going to languish in the corners of American society and find himself in exile in his own land. And so today, we've come here to celebrate these wonderful conditions. Slaves. I should now explain my appearance today. For all the slaves, for all the fans and public. Some of you are in denial after my introduction, saying, "You're not Jay-Z. I have pictures of you on my phone. I've seen you in concert. I've listened to all of your albums and I know what you sound like. Your voice, your speech pattern, your demeanor are completely different." You're asking, who are you really? Why are you impersonating our beloved Jay-Z, who would never speak of us in such a way? Why are you suddenly proclaiming victory in the name of a team we know nothing about? Why are you calling us slaves in a free country? And I say, I am Jay-Z. How well do your eyes see? You say I look different, yet you saw none of the signs that I've been working towards your detriment that were placed right in front of your faces. You believe I look different because you've never really seen the real me. You've been asleep too long in front of the slave box. That's just a code word that we on the winning team use to describe the TV. I sound different, you say. How well do your ears work? I spoke of ushering your children towards a life of crime, debasing your women. I took your hard-earned money and I bragged about how I wasted it on frivolous objects, all while using obscenities to talk to you on the lowest possible level of all levels, not once showing gratitude for you putting me on the pedestal. I was welcomed into your homes through your TV and music, and rather than leave a positive message in your homes, I defecated into your children's minds and came with a message of disempowering ruckus, and you still accepted me as a friend. All while I declared that I'm not your friend, and I don't want to be associated with people like yourselves. I never had any true intention of empowering you. I even threw champagne on them that I spit into at my concert as you worship me. So it's only natural that I sound different to you, because I've been speaking for many years now, yet you've never heard what I've been saying. Ask the CEO of MTV, Tom Freston, if I am who I say I am, and he'll tell you that this is I, the true Jay-Z, here, speaking to you today. You've simply never heard my voice. This is the true me. My fellow team members, look and marvel at all the shocked faces of the slaves as they hang here with their mouths open. They simply cannot believe that it is me. They're still trying to figure out if it's truly Jay-Z, then where has all of his profanity gone? It's only natural that when you're talking to me in my true essence, that I would lack the image presented to you on the slave box, the TV. After all, those are qualities which must be passed on to the sheep and cattle. This is my true voice. The voice of an elitist. The voice of a man on a winning team. A man with power, in control of expressing himself in his own native language. We must keep the masses ignorant. Make you communicate on the lowest possible levels. Know what I'm saying? You feel me? You know what I'm saying, yo? It's only natural that I would joke, because this is a victory speech. This is a landmark for us, the winning team. I see a lot of questioning eyes. You're still searching for my profanity because you've never heard of the winning team. You didn't understand that I was your enemy. You didn't know that we were on different teams, and that I was using language that I had been instructed to impose on you for our control purposes. It was language that you needed to internalize. South Park, Friends, American Pie, Seinfeld, Family Man, Jay-Z. It was language that you needed to recreate The Matrix, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men, Harry Potter. We gave you images which you must reproduce. The Boondocks, Die Hard, Jackass, Fast and Furious. We gave you words that you must recite, memorize, and reiterate. Lady Gaga, Lil Wayne, Justin Bieber. You're still thinking, I see it, I see all of your eyes, you're still thinking, how can you speak to your fans like that? And I tell you that it's because we've won. You're not my fans first, you're my slaves first. We're on different teams. I'm Jay-Z, and as my slaves, I order you to be my fans. Do you understand who my team members are? Do you understand who my coaches are? Do you understand the elite? Do you understand power control? You don't have a choice. We manufacture your reality. You still believe you're free. You're free to know about any great person in the world. Yet, you know about me. And Justin Bieber. You're free to gather and talk about anything you choose. Yet, you do nothing as we ship your jobs overseas and give them to workers in those countries and offer them barely livable wages and ask you to continue buying our products. Not once do you meet for one day or even think about meeting to discuss your detriment. Yet you meet in the masses to watch our other tools play with the ball. Sometimes they play with a basketball, sometimes with a football, sometimes a baseball. You spend hours not debating your plight, but debating Lance Armstrong's use of drugs, even though you don't cycle and could care less about cycling until we inform you that you should care about Lance Armstrong because it matters what you think about him, even though you're not a cyclist and 2 days ago hadn't thought about cycling in over a decade and you'll never speak to Lance Armstrong. You're free. You're free to think about anything. You're free to think about how can 2 planes hit 2 buildings and demolish 3, yet you use your time to think about the images that we feed you on the slave box. So I speak of my fans this way because I tell you, I'm but a simple foot soldier that has the blessings of the coaches. My coaches, or my boss's boss, will see to it that you worship me. You know the preferential royalty treatment that I receive as but an entry-level worker. So you'd never be able to fathom the power that they hold because you still have trouble getting my team name right. You could care less about the prison planet, the banks, the corporatocracy, the old money. My fans, the slaves, the sheep, can be spoken of any way I please on this day of victory. Because you can resist me, but you can't resist our tools. The paid politicians. We gave you a choice of Obama or Romney, and then helped you make your decision to give you a sense of inclusion. We skewed things your way to make you feel victorious. The entertainment, the columnists, the journalists, and most of all, the slave box. You don't have any courage to turn it off. You're too weak to resist our greatest mechanism of control. We made you a coward long ago. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Why didn't we declare victory back in 2001? When we ran a compartmentalized mock hijacking drill, then did a false flag hijacking, ran 2 planes into 2 reinforced resistant steel structures and told you that it made 3 buildings collapse. Why? Why didn't we declare our victory soon after we started our psychological terror warfare on the public? Why didn't we declare our victory in 2009 when we had the State Department usher Umar Abdulmatab on the plane without a visa? And tell you he's the underwear bomber. Why not a few years ago when we took bailout money to open up factories in Brazil and China? Why not when we immunized the crimes of J.P. Morgan Chase and Goldman Sachs and declared that they are of systematic importance to your poverty? Why didn't our victory speech come when we learned that we could promote an instant gratification lifestyle that discourages saving while promoting an inflated college tuition as a necessity in order to get students indebted to our system by the time they're 21 for jobs which we've already shipped off to China and Brazil with your bailout money? Why, you ask? The time wasn't right. We weren't certain. But now, we're sure that you'll accept everything. We know that you won't take the necessary first steps of throwing out your TV and start organizing in communities everywhere and fighting back. You'll never join the info war. You don't even know what that is, but we do. We on the winning team know everything of importance. You don't even have the power to fight left in you, to find out. Now I know for a fact that the time is now. I can speak of the slaves any way I wish, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're probably thinking, we can boycott you. Stop buying your albums. But I ask you, can you? Can you stop buying my album? I've already insulted your daughters thousands of times. I've helped in the conditioning to take away their self-esteem and then use trendy products to build it back up. I've already told you that I've thrown champagne all over their bodies as they worship me. I publicly sit on a throne of $500 million and help coordinate an increase in incarceration rates and sexual irresponsibility and foolishness. Do you really believe you'll rebel now? You have no power anymore. It's my team. The winning team. My friends. Fellow billionaires, sponsors, who have all the power. I'm but a mere deliverer of our public victory speech. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Don't you think it's strange? I grew up a poor kid in one of the lowest levels of society, but now I'm a billionaire, a man worth $500 million. Yet I continue to promote the lifestyle of one of the lowest members of society. Don't you think it's strange? Don't you think it's strange that I continue to promote and glorify the use of drugs in the life of a drug dealer who made it out without getting caught? Although I admit in broad daylight what I've done, yet I'm never in prison. There was a New Jersey man, Stephen Goff, that confessed this year to a murder which he got away with 23 years ago, but finally he confessed because of his consciousness, and he was charged with 1 count of murder and 1 count of possession of a weapon for unlawful purposes and put on a $1 million cash bail. But don't you think it's strange that my conscience doesn't work the same way as his? Don't you think it's strange that every other time I record a song, I repeatedly confess to my criminal activity, my prior criminal activity, yet not once face those penalties? Don't you think it's strange that I brag about drug use and drug dealing when I know that people are jailed after we convict them for nonviolent crimes and give them long prison sentences for the possession of microscopic quantities of illegal drugs? In Texas, a person can be sentenced for up to 2 years imprisonment for possessing 4 ounces of marijuana. In New York, the 1973 Nelson Rockefeller anti-drug law provides a mandatory prison sentence of 15 years to life for possession of 4 ounces of any illegal drug. And I'm from New York. So don't you think that's strange? Well, it's only strange because you're just seeing me. It's strange because you just heard my true voice. It's strange because you just saw my true intentions. It's strange because you just learned that we're on different teams. Yet you still don't know my team's name. It's the winning team. You heard my song, This Life Forever. You've heard my song, This Life Forever. where I talk about growing up with rapping being the only opportunity out of the life that I came from. Don't you think it's strange that now that I'm at the top of society, with millions of dollars, millions of fans at my disposal, and a different understanding of the way the world works, don't you think it's strange that I use none of those things to put together a think tank to help the community that I came from? I mean, I could go right now on my website and say, I, Jay-Z, want to put together a think tank to meet once a month to lay out a plan to address the problems in the community where I grew up. I could have a blueprint in my hands anytime I wanted. Don't you think it's strange that I titled my album The Blueprint, but have no such thing? It's only strange because you're just seeing me. It's only strange because you cannot see my masters and understand what team we're on. And you keep forgetting my true name. I rap about rap being a viable option out because I want youth to continue to believe in the nonsensical message that I give them. I promote drug use because it has been decided by my higher-ups that we must incarcerate more people and work them at 17 cents per hour in private Colorado prisons. I keep them entertained. I keep them entertained so that they keep wanting and needing more. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Why, you ask? I'm but a mere worker. I'm just a worker. Eugenics were already in place when I came into the spotlight. As I told you, I'm a simple entry-level worker on the team. A simple water boy. On this team, you're often forced to make a decision. It's as simple as love or money, freedom or tyranny. Had I chosen the path of love and resistance to tyranny, I wouldn't be where I am today. Mind you, there would have been someone else here, and I would have been swallowed up along with you, the masses, not knowing where I got hit by whom, when, why, or how, just like the city of Detroit or Athens, Greece. That means I chose the path of money and tyranny. But along with it came celebrity status, power, influence, and living at the top. I accept the notion that I'm participating in the extermination of African Americans, but, let me point out, my team, the winning team, is not racist. Let me say it again. I'm aware that I'm participating in the extermination of African Americans, but we're not racist. We envision a world in which we can exterminate people of every race and leave only servants for ourselves and our genes. It does not matter if the rats are black, brown, or white. We will exterminate all of the rats the same. You just have to reach down into the cage, pick out a rat, and that one will be the first to go. It's not about the color of the rat. So we had to pick one. Single one out first, because we had to figure out which method works most efficiently and subtly. And now we're ready to come for your genes. And because we're not racist, we decided that we're not going to keep gangster, disempowering, fake hip-hop and pop race-specific. The use of hijacked pop and hip-hop culture was simply being used as a prototype. But now, it's being unrolled on every race, every ear. That's why you can see black, white, Asian, and Latino children who at times have the opportunity to live in a safe community, have a supportive family, an encouraging neighborhood, yet they decide to transform themselves into the image that my friends and I promote. We've essentially found a way to reverse morals. Poverty is cool. Ignorance is fun. Irresponsibility is standard. Recklessness is okay. On the winning team, we learned. Why force people into poverty? Just make them accept it. Works much better. Divide them. Put out a few laws and regulations. Make those that we give a little power to beg for property of their community in order to seek greater profit for themselves in an attempt to join our team. What team? It's the winning team. You may say that I'm a dreamer. See, what you see happening in the inner cities, in places like Chicago, where 500 delinquent, misled teens coming from destroyed family units flood the upscale shopping streets to cause ruckus, you can expect to see in your neighborhood over the next 15 years, being done by your youth. So why did I decide to sell out my race? It's because I already told you that this has nothing to do with race. That's just an issue that we gave you to play with. I didn't sell out my race. I sold out slaves. I told you I'm but a mere foot soldier. I'm a mere dreamer. You could say that I'm a dreamer. I'm but a mere dreamer. The decision wasn't made by me. I'm simply one among thousands that comply because I admit I myself was once disempowered and I saw no means of resistance. I also lacked the ability to make the key fundamental change to resist tyranny. I couldn't take the first step like getting rid of my TV because that is our main means of control. I couldn't take step 2 of knocking on my neighbor's door and deciding on a time to sit down and talk about small changes that we could make in our community and then acting on those discussions. I couldn't do those things. Even when I learned that individually you lack power, but collectively you could turn the world upside down tomorrow. I also lacked a clear focus at the time. I hoped that maybe by sacrificing millions of children in the generations to come, I would simply be able to help my own. I guess that's the problem with us on the winning team. Sometimes we feel chosen. We believe that since we're on the team, we must be holy. We must be anointed. We believe that we've properly considered all options and made the best decision out of all possibilities. My decision of love and money, freedom or tyranny, wasn't that hard. Choice A, go along with the script, work for us. B, change my message to positivity that focused on community building, helping one another, service. Thus, have all that I worked for wiped out, taken away. All the money, the paper chase that I was on, have it taken away. So I made this decision. I chose to promote the life of crime, thuggishness, hustling, and it's been very profitable for me. Corrections Corps of America, the GEO Group, and other private prisons show their thanks to me. On this day of victory, as I talk so bluntly, I can't help but notice that when I look in your eyes, I see that you still have but more questions. Are you still that breathtaking beyond shock? Is it because I mentioned private prisons showing me their gratitude? I know what you're thinking. You're saying, how can that be? Well, wouldn't that be in every newspaper? Wouldn't people wake up to the fact that I'm misleading them? And I say this to you again. Did I not take your hard-earned money through your children and throw sticky champagne over their bodies at my shows? Did I not lie in their faces and proclaim that I did it only because I was excited and loved them so much and scream, I love you, thank you for being my fans, let me be your number one fan? And did they not buy that lie? So when you ask yourself if I'll ever be in a newspaper for getting gratitude from those private prisons, if you're ever going to read about it, let me ask you this. Are you ever going to read about me debasing your children the way I've already done countless times? The answer is no.